Yeah, me too. I really hate those YouTube channels that review obscure Japanese games that you can't get, or if you can, they're really expensive. Oh, hi, I'm Neil from Board Game Happy, and thank you very much for joining me today for a review of Planet E2C. This is a card shedding game from one of my favourite Japanese designers. I'm going to apologise now, but I will try and pronounce it. Taikai Shinzawa. They have designed Ghost of Christmas and Maskmen, and these are two of my favourite trick-taking, card-shedding type games. Their designs are often really unusual and they come a bit from left field, and a friend of mine was going to Japan and I said, look, if you get a chance and you see this, could you pick it up for me? And being the great guy that he is, he did. So I've now played this an awful lot, and I'm going to take it down to the table, explain how the game plays, give you some details, and then bring you back up to give you my final thoughts. And just to let you know, this is a 2 or 3 player only card shedding game, which is really unusual in the shedding genre. So yeah, let's take it down to the table, show you how the game plays, and then I'll bring you back up. Okay, cheers. Okay, starting off this review of Planet E2C, a bit differently, going to talk about the rules and components first of all. So obviously let's get this out of the way. The rules are in Japanese, but on BGG, the publisher has very handily put a link to the English translation, and I will say that the rules are clear and easy to understand. There was only one clarification I needed, and that was something that other people had asked. I think it was a translation issue. So on BGG there was a small clarification, so that was great. In terms of the what you get a nice deck of cards, 6 suits numbered 1 through to 6, with some really cool artwork. I think it's fantastic, like alien life artwork. It's really cute, really silly. Yeah, really like that. You also, this series of games comes in a lovely book shape box, which has the most satisfying magnetic click. Oh, I love that. So yeah. So the setup of Planet E2C is quite simple. If you're playing a 3-player game, you put this in the middle of the table. If you're playing a 2-player game, you put this in the middle of the table. Depends on whether you're playing 2 or 3 players. If you're playing 3, every single card in the pack is shuffled. If you're playing a 2-player game, you take out the grey cards and the number 6 of the purple, red, orange, yellow, and green suit. But in this example, I will show you a 3-player game. So this is a card shedding game, and it is a game in which you want to be the first person to shed out all of your cards. What's so clever and unique about Planet E2C is it works so well at it is only a 2 or 3 player game, and that is unusual in the shedding genre. Normally you really want to get 3 or 4 players at the minimum for a shedding game, but this one works great. So what we will do is we'll shuffle all of these cards. We will deal all cards to the players except for 3, which are removed from the game, and then I'll show you what you can do on your turns. Okay, the cards have been shuffled and dealt out. Let's have a look at player 1's hand. I have sorted these cards in 2 ways. I've sorted them in values of strength of suit as well as value, which is also their strength as well. So what this chart tells you is that grey cards are the weakest, purple are the strongest, and that is the hierarchy there. So 1 being the lowest value card and 6 being the highest. So a 5 purple is effectively the second highest card you can have in the game. So what you're going to do on your turn, say this was the starting player, you're going to play a series of tricks, and I call them tricks. I know that will wind some people up, but you're going to play a series of tricks until all but 1 player have passed. The last player to have played a card, so the only player not to have passed effectively, wins the trick, and they then get to commence the next trick. You keep on going until someone plays the last card out of their hand. They win the round, then the other players continue until only 1 player has got cards left in their hand. So you'll have a first player, a second player, and a loser. In a 3-player game, you're going to play up to a series of points. It's 6 points, with the winner of a round being awarded 2 and the loser being awarded 1. In a 2-player game, which I'll go through in a minute, it's slightly different. So what you can do on your turn is you can play either 1 or 2 cards to the table. Now these could be For example, a 1 grey, and I'll explain more about what happens when you play a single card in a minute. Or you can play a pair. Now that could either be a pair of the same suit, or, for example, a pair of the same number. Depending on what you play will depend on what the other players can do. So if I play a pair of the same suit, you're no longer concerned with numbers, and the next player is only concerned with suits. They have to beat the suit that's been played to the table. So they would have to play 2 greens, 2 yellows, 2 oranges, 2 reds, or 2 purples. If they played 2 purples, effectively that ends the trick. Everyone else has to pass. But what this player is going to do is they're going to play 2 greens. This then comes around to the third player, who will have to play either 2 yellows, 2 oranges, 2 reds, or they could pass. You can pass on your turn. But instead what they're going to do is, do you know what, they're going to pass because they've got some really high cards they think they could play later. So it comes back round to the first player, and they decide to also pass. So everyone's passed. The cards used in that trick are discarded. This player, the second player, won the trick, so they get to commence the next one. As an alternative, rather than playing 2 of the same suit, they're going to play 2 of the same number. So they're playing double 1. So we are now no longer concerned with the suit hierarchy, rather we're only worried about the numbers. So this player would have to play at least 2 2s or 2 3s. They have 2 2s, they're going to play 2 2s. Great. This player could play, obviously, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s. They have got quite a lot of, they're going to play 2 5s. Bringing it right back round to the player who started the trick, and to win this trick, they would have to play 2 6s. They're going to play 2 6s. So they play 2 6s. No one can beat 2 6s, that's the highest number. This player wins the trick again. So I've now given you an example of when you play 2 cards the same suit, 2 cards the same number. Let me show you what happens when you play a single card. This player decides to play a free orange. Now, when you play a single card, the trick is not yet determined whether it's a trick about numbers or colours. And it depends on what the next player will play, could cause the trick to commence on either a number or a colour basis. I'll give you an example. If they play, now they obviously have to beat either a 3 or an orange. So if they decide to beat a 3 with a 6, they have determined it's a number trick and they would win. Or if they decided to play, now this is where the headache comes in, a 4 red, they have beaten it both by the number and the suit. So that would then bring it right round to this player who still has power to decide what type of trick it is. So they decide to play a 2 purple. Well, you're going to say, well, why is the 2 lower than the 4? Yes, because what they've done is they've ignored the numbers and they've just beaten the suit. So they've turned it round from a number, from a possible number trick to a suit trick. No one can beat purple. They win the trick. Another example of that would be if they played, as an example, a 1 yellow. So they've played a 1 yellow. We don't know yet what type of trick it's going to be. This player plays a 5 grey, which is lower in the suit hierarchy, but is higher in the number hierarchy. That means it's turned into a number trick. And then this player has to play a 6. Luckily, they have quite a few. So they play a 6. Done. That keeps on going until a player sheds out. When a player sheds out, the round will continue. There are just a couple of little upkeep things to deal with at that point, but I don't need to go into that too much. But that's effectively a 3-player game. In a 2-player game, you play with only 5 suits. You do not play with the 6s. When a player sheds out, that's it. They win the round automatically. They win a number of points according to the round number it is. So in the first round, they would win 1 point. In the 5th round, they would win 5 points. First player to 10 points wins. And that is a very quick guide to how to play Planet E2C. Okay, I hope that look at the components and the cards and the rules and the how to play gave you a good idea of what Planet E2C is all about. And I will start off by saying This is fantastic. This has become one of my favourite shedding games in the very short time that I have owned this game, because it is so specifically amazing at 2 and 3. And as a shedding, in the shedding genre, you normally need 3, 4, maybe 5, depends on what type of game it is. So it's really great to have a shedding game that works so well. What I also love, as you saw, is the clicky box. The components, the card quality is really good, really, really well printed cards, lovely feel to them, shuffled loads of times, not a single sign of wear and tear. The rules are fine. There was one small clarification, which when I went on BGG, I think it was definitely a translation issue, because lots of people have asked the same question. It was just about when everyone has passed, can the player who played previously play again? The answer is no. It's just basically once everyone but one player has passed, that's the end of the trick. Sorry, I know that's irritating a lot of people, me using the word trick, but yeah, so that was it. So in terms of, do I think this is worth you seeking out? I certainly do if you like shedding games. If you play almost all of your games at 2 and 3, this is definitely worth seeking out. Now, not everyone's going to be as lucky as me and have a friend that's going to Japan in the next few weeks or what have you, who can pick up a copy at a reasonable price. So there are options for getting it in the UK. You could proxy it, I suppose, with some cards. It wouldn't give you the same feel. I've got a few games proxied, but I end up buying them anyway because I just love owning the things that I love, and also supporting the developers and the publishers of these small games, because that's what means that they can make more of them. So we want that to continue. So yeah, I would say it is worth, if you like shedding games, if you play a lot of 2 and 3 player games, this probably, you want to grab this. I will be taking this with me now wherever I go to conventions and so on and so forth. So if you see me and you fancy a game, give me a shout. I will have this on me. I can teach it pretty quickly now, and we can have a great fun game pretty quickly. In terms of value for money, it depends on how you get it. If you have to pay 30 quid to import it, that's quite a lot of money. But if you can get it for like 10, 15, whew, great value for money. So that's really difficult. I think this is for fans of shedding games for sure, but it does bleed into people who also may be curious about it. And this is quite weirdly, with the number or the colour suit variant that's happening throughout each trick and various other things on a single card play and all that, it's actually quite easy to play. You can see quite a lot of the DNA from Maskmen in terms of the suit hierarchy and all that. Now that one is a much more complex to teach, and I mean, I love it but it's a bit of a hit or miss with some people, that one. This one, I've not seen a miss yet, so it's really great. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. Length of play, 10, 15 minutes, depends. You'll play 2 games for sure. You might even play 3 because it's that good. So yeah, in terms of my final value, for me, it's an essential, which is so annoying because, like the joke at the beginning, YouTube channels that review really hard to get obscure games are fantastic, but also money pit. So yeah, for me, essential. For you, maybe not. But for me, I love it. I can't wait to show this to more people. I can't wait to play it more and more. Yeah, that's Planet E2C. Thank you very much for watching the review. I'm Neil, and I really appreciate it. I will see you on the next one. Okay, bye.